Welcome back to the Trainerize YouTube channel.
So today we're joined by Drew Manning, and most of you may not know, but Drew and his company are actually one of the top transacting companies in the whole Trainerize app. So we're super excited to dive in with him today and just talk about his story and how he goes about building his products and how he has created like multiple revenue streams across his business. So Drew, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Harmony. It's a pleasure to be here.
So before we kind of kick off, did you want to just introduce a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you guys do?
Yeah, so most people know me as the FIT2FAT2FIT guy, which is something I did back in 2011 as a personal trainer and someone who has never been overweight a day in my life. I decided to do this little experiment where I would purposely gain weight for 6 months actually, and I put on 75 pounds in those 6 months. I stopped exercising, ate a standard American diet, and put on 75 pounds of fat in 6 months. And that first experience back then, I was so humbled because it was way harder than I expected it to be, and I learned so many valuable lessons from it that the story kind of went viral. Right? People saw me gain this crazy amount of weight, went on a bunch of TV shows like Dr. Oz and Good Morning America and Jay Leno, and documented the whole weight gain and weight loss process, and created a brand around it called FIT2FAT2FIT, obviously, where I wrote a book which became a New York Times bestseller. I had 2 seasons of a hit TV show on A&E where we put other trainers through this process so that they could learn empathy for their clients, because it was such a revolutionary experience for me. It really transformed the way I viewed transformation. And lo and behold, I actually did this journey a second time just recently, which is when we started using your app, Trainerize, for the program for the journey back to fit. I did it as a 40-year-old this time around, being older, different metabolism, different hormones, different place in my life. Doing it a second time really was, once again, very humbling. And so many valuable lessons, though, were learned that helped me relate to my clients and hopefully spread the message of empathy and the importance of having empathy, especially in the fitness industry.
Absolutely. I want to dive more into that, because that must have been like not just physically, but like you said, emotionally, like such a journey. And how did that shift the way you empathize with people? Like what did that feel like?
So it all started from my first experience back in 2011 when I put on this weight. And before this, my identity was based on my body. Like I was Drew the fit guy as my identity. So my body image became my self-image. And once it became overweight, I'll be honest with you, I had a freak out moment where I was like, this isn't me. I wanted to go up to strangers and explain to them why I was overweight and that I was just doing this as an experiment, because I felt so uncomfortable being overweight for the first time in my life. And going through the process, I realized how much of transformation is mental and emotional for people. Whereas before, as a personal trainer, everything I learned was all about the physical stuff, right? Calories, macros, workouts, correct form, all those important things, but was totally missing the point when it comes to what people actually struggle with. And it's that mental and emotional, the psychological side of transformation that is so hard for people to stay consistent. And I learned so many valuable lessons, like the emotional connection to food and how powerful that is, and the biological connection to food, and the hyper palatability of the foods we have nowadays make it so much harder than people think to lose weight. And it's not as simple as just eating less and working out more, which is what people think. Oh yeah, you just do that. Yeah, of course that's part of the process, but it's the psychological aspect that people struggle with. And that's kind of what I learned and started to develop empathy, because I was more of the judgmental person before this, the judgmental trainer, like, come on, no excuses, you can do it, like, stop being lazy, those kinds of thoughts. And then once I did this, I had some really big realizations of just how much of transformation is mental and emotional. And so that's kind of how the empathy started to develop. And I realized, just how wrong I was. And empathy is a powerful tool. There's a quote that I live by that my brand is kind of based on, and it's no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so you could have all the knowledge as a trainer and all the certifications in the world, but if you don't know how to connect with your clients and make them feel like they're truly cared about, and that's what empathy is, it's like listening to understand their issues instead of just listening to judge or correct them or respond to them. that's kind of the biggest game changer, I think, when it comes to someone's personal transformation.
Absolutely. And actually, as you were telling your story, it's such a relatable message, because even I can think to times when at one point I had messed up my own metabolism a little bit and I started gaining weight rapidly. Like I went from being a very fit, like smaller person to kind of like having that same experience you did and gaining all of this weight and not feeling like myself. And it definitely changes your frame of reference, right? And some people live with that every day, and to not understand that as a trainer, it makes it really hard to diagnose and probably help people through it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why this type of experience, and that's why we created the TV show, to kind of give other trainers, a little bit of what it's like. Not exactly, right? Because I gained weight for only 6 months, and the trainers on the show gained weight for 4 months. Do they completely understand? No, but at least they have a better understanding and more empathetic. And let's be honest, this world needs more empathy, especially now more than ever with how divided things are.
Absolutely. So let's kind of dive more into that. So as you said, like this really changed the way you empathize with people, but how did you translate that into your programs and the actual like structure of your fitness regimens?
Yeah, really good question. So, before all this happened, the way I helped people was through the typical, physical side of weight loss, which is, okay, we're going to build a meal plan for you, calculate your calories, your macros. We're going to create a workout program that's, customized to the client, and that's going to help them out, and supplementation protocol, all that stuff that is important on the physical side of weight loss. And so that was the main focus. And if they were struggling, it was, let's switch up the program. Let's switch up your diet. Let's switch up your exercise routine. And that's all I knew how to connect with that person on, was the physical side of transformation. Now that I've done this journey twice, what does that look like? Well, you still get, we still use, for example, the Trainerize app, which is a great way to access meal plans and workouts, which all that stuff is important when it comes to transformation. But the way I help people now is through more so the mental and emotional side. So, built into the programs are things like mindfulness. I have my followers practice a meditation protocol. Doing small, simple things like making your bed every day can lead to more mental discipline throughout the day, so that when it comes to eating healthy and exercising, you're training your brain through these techniques to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And that's what transformation is, whether it's, weight loss, or whether it's financial transformation or spiritual transformation. It's training your mind to become comfortable in these uncomfortable situations. And so whether it's making your bed, meditating, taking a cold shower, doing a gratitude list, saying positive affirmations about yourself, these types of techniques that I use in my programs help build the client's resiliency and mental discipline when it comes to, transitioning into a healthy lifestyle, which is, very uncomfortable for people, right? Being disciplined, going to the gym, pushing yourself in the gym is very uncomfortable. But if you could train your brain through these other techniques to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations, like a cold shower, for example, which sucks, but what you're doing for 60 seconds is slowing your breathing down and realizing you're not going to die, even though, it feels very uncomfortable. You're going to be okay. And then now you start to believe, after doing these small things, that you can do harder things. And then when it comes to eating healthy food or being a little bit hungry, like you're not used to, you're just training your brain to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And that's kind of what my whole program is built upon. And it's not just diet and exercise.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's why we've at Trainerize pivoted our focus a lot from just, training to this kind of 360 approach. And we're really happy to hear the other end when we hear trainers talk about how they're implementing it into their programs.
Also, if you're new to training online, you can start your free 30-day trial of Trainerize by clicking on the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.